on this May 19th of 2025. Back again another day and another moderate risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Just had one yesterday across portions of the southern and central plains, producing quite a bit in the way of tornadic activity and severe weather. In fact, take a look at this picture from the storm yesterday out of Grinnell, Kansas. That is a very large rain-wrapped twister. You don't want to see something like this. Reports of this tornado well over a mile wide at times. These are all of the tornado reports just yesterday alone in red. Anywhere you see the red T, these are tornado reports out towards Dodge City, to the west of Wichita, out towards Garden City, Goodland, Kansas, and then outside of Denver too. Also, lots of hail reports there in the green H's, wind reports there in the blue. I did share quite a bit in the way of media yesterday from the tornadoes that occurred over on my Twitter account. Here's a look at some of the images there. That storm out of Grinnell, Kansas, massive, massive wedge. That cloud on the ground. And there's another look of it. A lot of folks think this storm was kind of reminiscent of the 2007 Greensburg tornado, although that one occurred later at night. Some of the damage there, cars tossed around like toys, semi-tractor trailers just completely ripped apart. Here's a look at an image, neighborhood suffering very significant damage. That looks like at least F3 damage in those photographs there. Here's another one from Grinnell, Kansas. You can see this well-built structure all the way down to its foundation. Just a mess, but somehow, almost miraculously, no fatalities reported with the storms from last night, so that's good. All right. For this video, we're focused on that moderate risk area. We're going to take a look into the future with those FutureCast models showing you where we are expecting the thunderstorms to go with our high-resolution models, where the highest likelihood of actually seeing tornadoes. We are seeing storms firing up with that IR, that's that enhanced infrared satellite there, showing you where those thunderstorms are located. I'll look underneath those storms here briefly as we go on over to our Omega radar. And there's a look at Omega showing you we do have thunderstorms, and those are thunderstorm warnings there in orange. Now moving into southeastern portions of Kansas, much of eastern Oklahoma. In red, that looks like one tornado warning just southeast of Wichita Falls. And we'll monitor that. But the main part of the show is going to wait till a little bit later on this evening, where we're going to be tapping into some high levels of instability. So taking off the IR and just taking a look at the amount of CAPE that's available. CAPE is convective available potential energy for you weather geeks out there. We are looking at a lot of energy in the atmosphere, where CAPE values are approaching 3,000 for much of central Oklahoma, in some cases over 4,000 as you get close to that dry line. That is a tremendous amount of energy, and all of that is going to be fuel for these thunderstorms as they continue to develop here as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon. Now, that risk area I've got highlighted for you with current radar. We'll turn off radar showing that risk area, but also specifically we want that risk area for tornadoes, hail, and wind. So we'll look at that here in just one moment. But that moderate risk does include Springfield, Fort Smith, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and that enhanced risk for Dallas, for Kansas City, and then outside of that in the yellow for St. Louis and Omaha, that is a slight risk of severe weather. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at where we are looking at that highest tornado potential. And there you go, that basically the same area that's underneath the moderate risk. That is a 15% chance of tornadoes. The hail potential will be there as well. Could have hail bigger than baseballs. And then as we go over to our wind potential here, you can see 45% significant wind event, a possibility there for parts of the region as well. So big time storm. Let's take a look at the weather models here, and we'll talk specifically about what you can expect this evening as these storms begin to get cranking. They are generating on those vigorous upper level winds, jet stream winds above us right now, causing all types of issues, as we're seeing 60 to 80 knot winds making their way across the plains. And that's the issue. This time of the year, oftentimes it's the upper level winds that can be a limiting factor to severe weather. Not today. 60 to 80 knot winds are on the base of that trough that's spinning across portions of South Dakota. So there's the low pressure, and you got big, vigorous jet stream wind energy that's going to propel those thunderstorms. And eventually it's going to push it to the east a little bit tomorrow. And there is another severe risk as we get into the day tomorrow. We'll talk about in just a couple of moments. But as far as the high-res futurecast here, this is the high-res NAM. Thunderstorms blowing up over the next couple of hours. And then we're going to pause it right here. And as we make our way into this evening, we'll pause it right here at about 5 o'clock this evening. Move forward, 6 o'clock this evening, and there's 7. Just an absolute tsunami of thunderstorms. Going to be feeding off, as mentioned, some high CAPE. That's convective available potential energy there in the purple and in the whites. These are CAPE values of 3 to 4, locally 5,000 units. So a ton of CAPE. Watch the CAPE as we go throughout the overnight, though. The CAPE will just absolutely be eviscerated by thunderstorms, because thunderstorms are going to use that energy for fuel, and then after it's spent, there's no energy left, and the atmosphere will have stabilized by morning. But before it does, it's going to create some problems. As mentioned, thunderstorms developing now, strong to severe into the start of the evening. I'm expecting the worst of the weather to occur as we head towards mid-evening. So I'm going to pause it right here, and we're going to move forward in time. And we're going to pause right here. So this is 7 o'clock this evening, Central Time. Thunderstorms ongoing. These will be severe. Some of those could be tornadic. But what I want to watch is the dry line out to the west. That dry line is going to form storms right there, perhaps near Oklahoma City. We'll watch these storms to the north, to the south of OKC tonight, because these are going to have the tendency to rotate. We're going to pause it right here at about 10 o'clock this evening. So thunderstorms ongoing to the west. This will be a QLCS, or a quasi-linear convective system capable of producing all hazards, including hail and wind, but also brief but potentially strong tornadoes, EF2, even EF3 possibility with that. I think it's a higher possibility to the west, though. You get into this environment where you're going to have these supercells, once they develop, for a while, at least probably for a couple of hours, they're going to have their own environment. And these supercells that you see located very close to Oklahoma City tonight, this is at about 11 o'clock this evening, will have the capability, strong rotation, hail, wind, yes. And I think those are going to be the highest threat for producing tornadoes. And then these storms then come together, they form a squall line, and it follows the path of the previous squall line as it moves to the east during the overnight period. But overnight, these storms are going to lose their punch, and they're going to really calm down and behave a lot better as we head towards morning. However, in the meantime, we still have issues on our hands with that moderate risk for tonight. So this is tonight's moderate risk area as we go back over to radar. So this is the situation. That frontal system is going to move to the east tomorrow. Let me get rid of the fronts, and we'll show you where that convective outlook moves tomorrow. So day 1 tonight, day 2 tomorrow. So there's going to be a large area of a slight risk that goes from Indianapolis to Lexington, south of Jackson, and then an enhanced risk tomorrow, south of Louisville. That's going to include Nashville, Huntsville, Birmingham, Knoxville to Memphis. So tomorrow's going to be an interesting day as well. But that's all we got for you, at least for this particular update. As mentioned, could be an interesting evening across the plains, particularly Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri, northwestern sections of Arkansas. I want to stay tuned tonight, be weather aware, if you will, and stay safe. I'll continue to monitor, and if we need to provide a live update tonight, we'll do that as well. Look for additional content on my Twitter feed. That's meteorologist Jeremy Capel on Twitter and also on YouTube. And then you can follow me on Facebook. That's Weather Live Media. All right. Thanks for being on here. We'll continue to monitor the situation. You guys be safe. We'll talk to you soon.